A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, with a noble and universal greeting of peace, the greeting that has been used by the prophets and messengers of our universal creator, Almighty Allah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Very grateful to Allah that I am alive and healthy and well, and things just get better and better for me in my life. I feel spiritually stronger than I've ever felt. I feel my iman is on the up and up. My iman, my yaqeen, my taqwa is on the up and up. Very grateful. And my amal, the way I behave to me, my body, my life, I'm playing a progressive role in my life. I'm respecting me, my body, my life. I'm respecting life and the gifts that Allah has put in the world for us to live naturally, a life tayyibun. I am opening up to greater and greater levels of iman, amal, a life tayyibun, or peace consciousness, personal power consciousness, and prosperity consciousness. And I know that this is the path for me, the path of human excellence. And it leads to prosperity, from peace, power, prosperity in this world. It leads to paradise in the world beyond. And that's what I'm really interested in. And over the last few months I've been sharing with you my adventure from where I was, without peace, disturbed, distressed, depressed, feeling bad, unworthy, trying to get value in the world, fearing that I can lose value, trying to be okay, thinking that something in the world was needed. I was so absorbed in my mind, in my distorted mind and my diseased heart. I didn't even know that I didn't know. I was so deep that I didn't know how deep I was. Like most people. Most people don't know actually how deep they are. It's only when you start ascending, when you start raising your awareness and you start getting closer and closer to Allah, then you realize how far away from Him you were. You know what I mean? So most people don't know. And they don't know that they don't know. That the everyday life of the human being, that is stress and distress, no peace, that's very unnatural. It's very unnatural. The natural state is a state of spiritual well-being, a state of unconditional spiritual joy, a state of supportedness, sortedness and supply. Secure satisfaction is our natural state. Allah is the objectively sustaining, the subjectively satisfying. Allah is because of whom our security is assured and reassured, and our satisfaction is ensured. You see, I didn't know any of these things. Nobody told me these things. It's all in the Quran, but nobody seems to be aware of it. And so I experience an assurance. Verily, in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. No matter what is going on or has been going on in my life, in the remembrance of Allah, my heart began to experience more and more assurance. I went beyond my distorted mind and my diseased heart. The Quran tells us that we are here to remember Allah, that Allah is our refuge from Satan, the accursed, who whispers into the hearts and minds of creation. Allah tells us that we are here to draw closer to Him, to prostrate and draw closer. We are here and we have an opportunity. Saying that Allah calls us to Him. This is our opportunity that we have here. The opportunity to experience drawing closer to Allah. And Allah tells us in the Quran that we can play a role in our lives, in terms of our soul. We can benefit our own soul while we are here. Or we can commit an oppression against our own soul. So I have chosen to remember Allah, to claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed, to draw closer to Allah, to play a beneficial role, to apply myself, benefiting my soul, to cleanse my heart, to bring to Allah a purified heart, to remember Allah, purify my heart, benefit my soul, benefit me in this world to live at a higher level, ethically and so on and so forth, receiving Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. So we all have that opportunity while we are here. So Allah has guided us, and we can live with the spiritual development that we are guided to live with. In fact, this is a mission that we have. As human beings, while we are here, we can remain lost in the denial of Allah, the association of partners with Allah, in hypocrisy, saying we believe but we don't really believe. We can live in this world focused on the world and controlled by the world, trying to control the world, having forgotten Allah, remaining in a state of forgetfulness. We might even think we're very religious, but being religious doesn't mean that you're remembering Allah. Being religious doesn't mean that you are, purifying your heart. Being religious doesn't mean you're benefiting your own soul, you're receiving His good in this world through your death and beyond. You see, there are people, we hear sometimes wives say, my husband is very deeny, but he's abusing me in every possible way. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about, being religious. The Quran says, there are those who stand in prayer, but their hearts lack the smallest of kindnesses. They don't experience being kind or loving, etc., etc. Allah's nature is peace, patience, compassion, kind, loving, etc., etc. But there are people who are religious, their hearts are diseased, right? That the Quran says they say they believe in Allah in the last day, but they don't believe. They lie to themselves thinking they lie to Allah, but they only lie to themselves. Their heart is diseased, and that disease expands. And they astray, and Allah leaves them to stray. So I was one of those people. And here I am with spiritual power, peace. And I'm into Iman, Amal, my personal power. Before I used to harm me, my body, my life, I used to behave in a way that were directly and indirectly harmful against myself, against my body, against my life, against areas of my life. I was living without claiming the potentials and possibilities. I didn't dream for me in this world what was good for me in this world. I didn't focus on a tayyib life, a wholesome life, a satisfying life, a fulfilling life. So, we can be in a perversion, a state of perversion, that we don't feel that spiritual joy, and we can live and die without feeling that natural state of unconditional joy. The result of having a relationship with Allah. You see, verily in the remembrance of Allah, when you remember Allah, when you recognize Allah, your heart experiences assurance. And we can feel that happiness with Allah. That what Allah has done for us, nobody can do for us, we can't do for ourselves. That relationship with Allah. We can remember Allah and have that relationship with Allah. We can focus and feel about Allah, give exclusive attention to Allah, rather than what's happening, who's happening, what's not happening, who's not happening. In the mind and its trance, Satan threatening you with insecurity, causing you to behave in ways unseemly. Satan wants you to feel desperate and needy and unworthy and have that heart that is diseased. You get what I mean? And I was there, not there anymore. Shukr to Allah. I'm higher and higher, feeling peace, unconditional joy. And you can experience your amal, you can experience yourself with the ability that Allah has given to you. You can develop your capacity to live as honorable human being. That you can relate to you, your body and your life beneficially. You can benefit yourself instead of satanically, which means you don't benefit you, your body, your life. You live unnatural. I'm talking about perversion, right? All human beings, when you forget Allah, you're in a state of perversion. You don't feel naturally good. And you don't do what you naturally can that benefits you. There's no iman, there's no amal. And you don't live in support of a natural life to have your needs met in a way that benefits you, that in a way that satisfies you. You don't choose natural satisfaction, so you live in deprivation, indulgence, perversion. This is what happens. I was there. And after having submitted, choosing to remember Allah, claim the refuge of Allah, from Satan the accursed, draw closer to Allah, bring to Allah a purified heart, to cleanse my heart, purify my heart, to benefit my soul in this world through my death and beyond, to receive Allah's good in this world and the world beyond. This is my mission. This is the mission the Quran has offered us. And I have accepted the mission and I undertake the mission. I live intentionally. This is my intention, I live knowing that this world is temporary and my experience in this world and the me of this world is temporary. But there is a hereafter and I will be accountable to Allah. You see, that's the main thing. How will I be returned to Allah? In what state will I be returned? Will I be in that perverted, unnatural state of having forgotten Allah and not receiving His blessings and benefits and not living as an honorable human being that He created me to be and not receiving His good in this world and the world beyond? Will I live and die unnaturally and will I meet my Creator in a state of unnaturalness? I don't want that. I'm on a mission to go beyond my unnaturalness, to go beyond denial of God, association of partners with God, saying that I believe but don't believe. I'm choosing to have Iman in my heart. The Quran says, don't say you're a believer if faith is not entered into your heart. I'm choosing to be a believer who has faith in my heart, to remember Allah and experience assurance, to experience Allah consciousness, to experience Iman in my heart, yaqeen, a certainty of faith, and to have a life that is, to have a faith and a connection, have taqwa, have God consciousness, claiming the refuge. This is my mission. I have undertaken it. And I could have been that person when my life was miserable only because that I had failed to remember Allah. When you fail to remember Allah, yours will be a miserable life. The Quran tells us. And when I was having that depressed life, that miserable life, I thought, Allah changed it for me. In the meantime, it was a consequence. It was a result of the way I was, of who I was. I wasn't living with Iman. I wasn't living with Amal. I didn't support a life tayyibun. I wasn't into wholesomeness. See, I wasn't into being a believer, being selfful and being satisfied. I wasn't into being an outstanding human being who actually had a relationship with my Creator, first before anybody, including myself. I didn't have a relationship with me, my body and my life. I didn't have a relationship with people, things and experiences. I didn't allow myself to feel good with Allah. I didn't allow myself to feel good about myself and good about my ability to care for me, my body, my life. Only Allah takes care of all of us. But He gave us the ability, like to be hygienic, to be clean, not only with our bodies, with our mind, with our spirit. We can be spiritually hygienic and clean. We can be mentally hygienic and clean. We can be physically hygienic and clean. We can be emotionally hygienic and clean. You get what I mean? We can be relationally with other people hygienically and clean. We can be in the higher vibes as we live our lives, or we can live in the lower vibes. Cleanliness is next to godliness, we are told. You get what I mean? So, I am where I am today with this joy in my heart. And I am where I am today with this joyful expression and enjoyable living, powerfully applying myself. You see, I am aware and I experience security with Allah. And I am expressing myself as a believer. I'm living as a believer. I'm living as one who relates to Allah, me, my body and my life at a higher level. I'm not like how I was when I was worshipping Satan. When you fail to remember Allah, you worship Satan. You can say you're a believer, but you're not a believer. You know what I mean? And you can say all sorts of things. But if there's no faith in your heart, you're not living with Amal, you're not supporting a life tayyibun, you're not going to have Allah's good in this world, and you're definitely not supporting your good in the next world. So, I lived as one who didn't have a peace consciousness, who was affected, bothered, needy, unworthy, whispered to by Satan, having forgotten Allah and who I am to Allah. I lived in a trance like everybody does until guidance comes to us, and those who receive the guidance, we awaken, we become more aware. See, I'm intentional on being more aware. I've been living intentionally. My intention is not for relief, safety and excitement. When you look at my life, I don't get up in the morning and rush to make money or amass money or to do work. or to please people, or to look after a spouse or children. I'm not what I thought I once was, a human-animal role. You understand? My role, my identity is not as a husband or father or teacher or neighbor, whatever, son, a worker, an employee, a business person. That's not my identity. My true identity is a believer, one who is aware of Allah, a creation of Allah. I'm aware of Allah and I'm aware of who I am to Allah. I'm aware of Allah's relating and responding to me. I relate and respond to Allah. My first relationship is with Allah. It wasn't like that before. When we are worshipping Satan, when we have forgotten Allah and we don't want to remember Him, we turned our back towards Allah, we are with Satan. And Satan threatens us with insecurity, inspires us to behave in ways unseemly. We forget about Allah, our Creator, and He's relating to us. We forget about why we are here, our mission. We forget about guidance. We forget about what we're here to do and accomplish. We forget about the hereafter, that the home of the hereafter is the main thing. Now this doesn't mean you must take on a religious identity, because a lot of people will hear this and say, so what do you want? You must look like a believer and act like a believer and speak like a believer, which basically amounts to people just taking on a religious role. You understand? They just want to look the part, sound the part, act the part, but they're not living on the path. You see, you can look the part, but you're not living on the path. You can speak and sound like you're on the path. You're playing the part, but you're not living on the path. So I could have been there and remained there. I could have been that person who, when I got up in the morning, I was just trying to make sure I was okay. Like I thought I can make me okay, or I can make other people okay. I could have thought that it's because of me and what I do that I'm okay, or because of me and what I do that others are okay, or that I have to get somebody to be pleased with me. And if somebody's pleased with me, then I'll be okay. They'll pay me, they'll keep me, they'll love me, they'll stay with me. See, that's how we all are until guidance comes to us. And those of us who receive the guidance, we start realizing, hey, we don't actually have an actual relationship of faith with Allah. We're not really aware of Allah. Because if we were aware of Allah, our hearts would experience assurance. We would stop everything, drop everything, we would go beyond our compulsive identity, this automatic, pattern of functioning in the world. You see, as a non-believer, that's how I was, controlled by the world, trying to control the world, compulsive, trying to make sure I was okay, trying to make sure other people were okay. I was denying the truth that there's only Allah, because of whom we are and whose care we're always in, that we are okay because we are His creation in His care. I didn't focus on Allah. People focus on money, job, a person, people, and so on and so forth. Their lives center around, people and things. And those in the religious addiction, they are in the religious identity. They think their life centers around Allah. Those who are religious addicts who play the part, but they are not on the path. They're really just in an identity of a certain type of, Islami. They are in an identity. They in a sense worship religion, or they worship somebody's ideas. They have been told, to be children and follow somebody like a parent. They have blind faith. Just do like this, say it so many times, do it so many times. Just have these ideas in your mind, but they haven't been guided to submission. They haven't been guided to Allah consciousness. They haven't been guided to Iman. They've been guided sometimes, in the best of cases, to Islam, but in the worst of cases, mostly, they have some perverted understanding of Islam. Like the Quran says halal and tayyib, they're not interested in tayyib. They're only interested in halal. You get it, but not the tayyib. So they have these perverted ideas of what Islam means. Just read the Quran in a language you don't understand, as long as you just read it. This is ignorant India. Back in the day, you understand? We've brought these ways with us to where we are today. where people didn't know how to read and write and all that sort of thing. They just said read, memorize and read, and that's it. This is the ways of these ways of Islamism that are around today is from hundreds of years ago when Islam came to India. The Arabs were doing trade with the Indians, and those Indians from the guru systems adapted the guru systems to perpetuate. You get what I mean? There's no real focus on your true identity as a believer, aware of God, aware of what you are. So I don't blame you if you're just following the patterns of, modified Hinduism. Islamism is modified Hinduism as far as I'm concerned. You get what I mean? And I was there too. I'm telling you about my journey, right? How wonderful it's been. That where I was and where I am, I have this peace. I remember Allah. I'm actually remembering Allah. I'm actually aware of Allah. I don't believe that I am. I actually am. There's peace in the heart. And I'm functioning in a way that is benefiting me. I can see it every day. I'm relating to Allah, responding to Allah. I'm applying myself with spiritual practice in a way that benefits me. I'm doing things with Allah that actually benefit me, that I'm feeling the difference with. I teach people what I call the 7 spiritual practices. With each one of the practices, I experience a change in me and in my life. It's not like the Islamis or the people who just follow the gurus and the pandits who just do rituals. This, with spiritual practice, there's a change in your levels of awareness and experiencing and feeling. You're raised in awareness and you feel assured and reassured. This is what spiritual practices are all about. Those people who just do rituals and remain unconscious and live subconsciously, they are not really intentional to expand in awareness, to know their true nature beyond what they believe and the emotions and those reactions. Because we are all deeply identified with the phantom self, with the satanic self. That's the problem here. The self that has forgotten Allah and remains, without being aware of Allah. And when you are in that phantom self, you're only interested in this world and trying to avoid feeling bad and trying to feel good, but never feeling good now. You are conditional. You're deeply invested in what's happening or what's not happening, who's not happening. You're worried about the future. You're coming from the past. Now, when you're a believer, you go beyond time and space and beyond conditions. When you're a believer, you focus on Allah before you focus on the world. When you're a believer, you focus on Allah and Allah's sufficiency for you rather than what's going on. Now, when I was a non-believer, Islami, I was so focused on, this is a problem, help me Allah, change me, change this, change that. Why are you not listening to me? Why are you not changing it? Come on, change it. You know what I mean? Please, have you forgotten me? Are you punishing me? I had all these lower perspectives and lower perceptions of a non-believer. Because the Quran is plain. Remember Allah, claim refuge with Allah, draw closer to Allah, bring to Allah a purified heart, cleanse your heart, behave in a way that actually benefits your soul, receive Allah's good in this world and the world beyond, focus on learning, growth and development. You know what I mean? Now, I didn't know. Most people don't know. They think I'm doing this ritual, I'm reading that, I got the scarf on my head, I grew my beard. Now I'm a real Muslim, Allah must listen to me and He must do what I tell Him to do, and why is He not listening? You know what I mean? Most people are ignorant. They don't know. And they don't know how deep in darkness they are. They don't know. I didn't know. I'm telling you this from personal experience. I'm speaking from experience. Having been guided by Allah and experiencing peace and knowing the true nature of reality, that what there is for us as human beings to experience, what we've been trained in and taught and what people are living in is so bad that they have no clue how far into darkness they are. It's only when you're guided into peace and you have done the work, the spiritual work, when you have accepted Tawheed, and so on and so forth, when you have claimed the refuge, when you're intentional, when you're here and you know you got a mission here and you undertake that mission, and you know that if you fail to undertake that mission, you're a loser. If you fail to learn, grow and develop, if you fail to have that relationship with Allah, if you fail to have that relationship with you, your body, your life, your future, your afterlife, if you fail yourself, and if you fail other people, and if you fail yourself by not letting other people care for you and support you, if you're making life difficult for you, most people don't know. They're failing. People don't know that Allah is available right here, right now, and we have no problem. He's here to protect us, progress us, and prosper us. People don't know. People are not experiencing. They don't know they're letting themselves down. They don't know they are keeping themselves from assurance, from peace, from faith, from security. They don't know. They think they're doing the rituals, the Islamis, they are in the religious identity. They don't know their true identity. They don't know what they are. They don't know where they are. They don't know what's going on here. The Quran gives us all this guidance. But who's interested? The Islamis are not interested in the message of the Quran. They're just interested in reading the Quran cover to cover in a language they don't understand. Because they've been taught that that's what it's all about. But it's not. The Quran itself says this is a book for people of understanding, for people who reflect, for people who contemplate. Where the Islamis contemplating on the message of the Quran? I haven't seen that. How many times you read it? How many times you recited it? I recited it. I recited so well. Just memorize it. Just do this. Missing out. Missing out. Imagine if somebody gave you a wonderful recipe for a lovely meal, and you didn't understand a word of this recipe. You understand? And you're just reading the recipe every day. And you think by reading the recipe, that was the purpose of the recipe. To read the recipe. No, the recipe is for a purpose. For you to apply yourself so that you can have a result. You can bake a cake, you can make a meal, and there's some benefit. Now the Quran is a recipe for success in this world and the world beyond. It's showing you how to, what you're here for. It's showing you, what it's all about. And people are not interested in what the recipe is for. As long as we read the recipe, that's the point of the recipe. You get what I mean? That is such a, foolish thing. But yet people are. That's how deep in darkness people are. They never ask that, what is the message that I can inculcate? Why is this book a healing of the diseases in the heart? My engagement with the Quran, the revelation, the Furqan, is it healing the diseases in my heart? They don't ask that. That disease is just there, it's left to stray, that's expanded, they're left to stray. Just carry on. For them, they think they're doing something wonderful. Blind following Islamism. It's a very sad state of affairs. Not for me. For those who are keeping themselves from the peace with Allah now. That assurance and that reassurance now. They don't know that they are the ones. They're thinking, but Allah is the one not listening and changing in them and changing the world, and Allah is the one they must beg to. But Allah has given us guidance. Guidance is what Allah has given to us. I was saying to my mother how it's been raining non-stop for, weeks now. Feels like weeks anyway. And, my mother says, Allah make it easy. For you, for the people. I said, you want Allah to make it easy? A thought in my mind. I said, Allah has given me a mind. Allah has given me the ability to reason. Get what I mean? We can operate in a way that can benefit us. I can dress warmly, get clothes that are warm, have a hot water bottle, whatever it is, I can use the ability to reason. If you use the ability to reason, you can have an easier life. You get what I mean? I'm giving you an example. The Quran says Allah wants ease for you. A lot of people, Islamis, are like, no, ease is bad and all. Allah wants ease for you. It says many times in the Quran. So He gave us a mind. If you use your mind, you can have, if you reason, can make life easy for you. So, people are like, Allah, Allah, Allah. Yeah, Allah. When I get up, Allah is His name in my lips. The awareness of Allah, I claim refuge Allah, but not like Allah, indeed, I'm needy Allah, I need you, I'm so like you didn't give me a mind, like you didn't give me guidance, like you didn't show me the error of my ways, like you didn't show that I am to correct what the mission is and how to live. You get what I mean? Allah has given us humanity the highest status on the planet, ability to reason, gave us the Quran that we can use the reason and use the Quran as guidance, get what I mean? And we can correct ourselves. But the people don't want to correct them. They don't want to say that it's me who's not receiving the message and guidance of the Quran. It's me keeping myself away from the power of Allah. It's me keeping me away from assurance. No, Allah, 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 Allah. You know what I mean? The people. The needy on Allah people. Allah has created us to depend on Him. Allah is sufficient for the believer. Allah is adequate for the believer. Allah is enough. As a believer, I come from the havingness of Allah, having the kindness of Allah upon me. The Quran says, which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? You know, which of the favors of your Lord do you deny? The people not only denying the favors of Allah, they're denying Allah. The Quran says, mankind, what has deluded you? You know, like, how come you are like that? What has deluded you? You can't see your Creator. And you can't see your Creator's caring for you. You can't see your Creator's sufficient caring for you. You can't see that your Creator is here with you, telling you where your foreparents went wrong, Adam and Eve, and where we are here and what happened, and what we are to do here to come back. Not interested. No, let's just be a religious identity. Let's just read more of the Quran in a language you don't understand. Let's read the recipe over and over. How many times you read the recipe? Million times. But how many times did you apply the recipe? Not once. What good is that? At least you read the recipe, you apply the recipe, cake will flop, you do it again, you do it again, you do it, and eventually you got a lovely baking, going. Good cake, tasty. The recipe. If you read it with I want to understand, what is going on here. No, we're not interested in the Quran, right? We're interested in the Guru and the Pandit, like India. The Guru and the Pandit said, don't read the scriptures, don't worry, you just follow us. Don't even go to the other Gurus and the Pandits. You just follow us. Claim refuge with us, the Guru said. No, I claim refuge with Allah. From the Guru, who worships Satan. You understand? I turn to Allah. And I respect people who turn to Allah. Believers. So we are the ones. But we are the ones. We are the ones keeping ourselves in a state of insecurity. We are. We want to live from insecurity. And feeling insecure, not assured, not reassured, not feeling good. We want to find relief, safety, excitement. We want to avoid feeling bad. When you go into a state of insecurity, the Quran says, after Adam repented, the Prophet Adam, peace be upon him, repented, the Quran says, Allah says, guidance will come to you and your people. Whoever accepts the guidance will no longer be insecure. You know what I mean? Whoever accepts the guidance will no longer be insecure. Whoever accepts the teaching of the revelation given to humanity, whoever accepts the truth will no longer be insecure. So I have made a study of truth. The truth, there is only Allah. And the wonderful nature of Allah is for us to focus on. And what happened to human beings? We turned our back to Allah. Nothing bad ever happened to human beings. Allah created us in the best of molds. Allah gave us everything we require. Allah even gave us guidance. Adam and Eve don't eat from that tree. They still went and ate. And even after they ate and they got intoxicated, the ego is an intoxication. Not seeing things clearly, living created the illusion of sickness and disease and all that sort of thing. Allah then gave guidance to humanity. See, people don't want to know what's going on here and why we are here. They don't want to know. They're like, we're here for this world, as long as we're okay, and we got our job, and money has power, and job has power. We'll focus on our job, we'll be controlled by our job, we'll be controlled by our money, we'll be controlled by the people in our lives, we'll try and control our people in our lives. It's not about anybody or anything, it's about Allah. Allah alone exists, the Creator, benevolent, beneficent, has blessed us and benefited us. People, no. They don't want to stop and drop everything. They don't want to release that compulsive reaction. But that's what has to happen. You got to stop everything, you got to drop everything, you got to stop that focus. Satan is telling you, distract you, keep going, and now just read your prayers, distract you. A lot of people's prayers are just things they do. The Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was reported to have said that Salah is the Mi'raj of the mu'min. You stop everything, you drop everything, and you ascend close to Allah. You experience Allah consciousness. A lot of the Islamis are just reading, postures. Their mind is everywhere but aware of Allah. You know what I mean? They're not in a state of assurance. They're just doing more doings in the world. Compulsive. This is why I say they're addicted to religion, meaning they're compulsive in their rituals. They're not choosing and inspired and looking forward to the time they spend with Allah. They feel they have to do it. They need to do it. They're not choosing that time with Allah. It's done as automatic by the phantom self, the ego self. You know what I mean? Every time I remember Allah, every time I pray, I worship, I do it willingly. And in that state, I feel close and I feel assured. The world takes a back seat. Nothing is important for me in that moment. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a businessman, I'm not a husband, I'm not a father, I'm not a son, I've got no work to do, whatever it is. In that moment, not me, not what's happening, not the world, only Allah. I'm with you and I see your greatness and graciousness, your unconditional gifting nature. To stop everything, drop everything, give exclusive attention on Allah. And when you recognize Allah, you experience being okay. Because anybody who is aware of Allah, really aware, will experience being okay. They'll be assured and reassured. They'll know that Allah is Ghafur Rahim, forgiving the merciful. Rahman Rahim, compassionate and merciful. Get what I mean? So I could have been like everybody else. Not God aware, but thinking that I'm all into religion, and I could have been like everybody else, not aware of what I really am first. Before the roles that I'm identified with, I release all roles. I am nothing. Literally, I am nothing but the creation of Allah. That's what I am. I am a blessed and benefited creation of Allah first. If you say, no, I am a parent, I am a child of a parent, I am a business person, I do work, I'm a worker, I'm an employer, whatever. If you come from that, you haven't submitted. If you think you are anything other than a creation of Allah, if you don't know that you're the creation of Allah, and when I say that, I mean you know who Allah is. You know the nature of Allah. I begin with the awareness of the wonderful nature of Allah. So you have to go from A'udhu to Bismillah to La ilaha. Get what I mean? So, what am I saying? I'm saying that there's a mission for all of us to undertake. People who are interested in their problems and trying to make themselves okay, trying to make other people okay, disturbed about how they are, how their lives are, affected by things, begging, wishing and saying, I can't feel good now, I can't feel good now, something must change, I must change, I feel bad. You feel bad because you're not aware of Allah. When you're not aware of Allah, when you've forgotten Allah, Satan is with you. Remember what I told you? That anytime you forget Allah, or those who have forgotten Allah, Satan is attached to them. And that Satan is with you. And that Satan lures you, tells you nonsense about you, about life, distracts you, misdirects you. And on the day of accountability, when you see that Satan, the Quran says, you will say, Ish, I regret this. Would that Satan have been as far from me as the east is to the west? And this thing was with me all along. You get what I mean? So people might not believe this, but the Quran is guidance. That until we remember Allah, the Satan's attached to us. The Quran begins with A'udhu and ends with A'udhu. We claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed, the Lord of mankind, the governing power over mankind, the God of mankind, from the whisperer. This is the thing that we are to be intentional about. We are to recognize we can't trust our minds because our minds have distorted perceptions. We can't trust our hearts because our hearts are diseased. If we listen to our minds and our hearts, we're going to be resistant, reactive, needy, attached, feeling unworthy. We're going to live perpetuating being a Satan worshipper, a denier of Allah, associate, and a hypocrite. Allah has given us guidance. We are astray, and He is available to us. See, people don't want to admit they're astray. But how can I be astray? I read the Quran, I read the recipe 1,000,000 times. But did you act on the recipe? Did you use the recipe? No, I didn't. I read my salah every day. But are you experiencing the ascension, the miraj in your salah? Are you really aware of Allah? Do you really understand Tawheed? Do you really know that you don't really exist, but you experience existing? Do you really know that you're a creation of Allah? Have you humbled yourself? But I do my postures. I put my forehead to the ground. Anybody can do that. In fact, non-Muslims also do that. Bow before God in different ways. Well, let me not say bow before God. They bow before the idea of God. They have physical postures. But do we actually, are we really aware of Allah? Because in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. Get what I mean? So when we're living our lives and we think we've got all these problems of life and something needs to be different and we need to be different and the world needs to be different and other people need to be different and we can't feel good until something is different. We've got to realize that we have a bigger problem, a real problem, if there is such a thing as a real problem, is that we have forgotten Allah. We are not Allah aware. We are worshipping Satan. There's a Satan attached to us. There's no Satan attached to me. Of course there is. Look at the state of your heart. Look and see if there's Iman. Is there peace in your heart? No. So there's a Satan attached to you. No, can't be. I never saw it. Well, you can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel, when you feel horrible, miserable, shame, guilt, unworthy, needy. There's a Satan telling you that there's no Allah, and Allah is not enough for you, and you're not His favorite creation. He's telling you, don't turn to Allah, don't use the power of Allah. He's telling you, you don't have the ability to benefit you. Don't act in a way that benefits you. And what I'm saying to you, I was guided to recognize Allah taking care of me, taking care of everything for me, showing me the error of my ways, showing me how to correct, showing me how to apply myself with Him. So every day I apply myself with Allah, I remember Allah and I apply myself with Him. And my life gets better and better. So what problem is there really for me? No problem. And every day as I draw closer to Allah, I realize I've wronged me, my body, my life. And I don't want to do that anymore. Feeling assured and reassured with Allah, not being compulsive, not worshipping Satan, it's easy for me to be more caring for me, my body and my life. How you know a Satan is attached to you? You have a beggar consciousness. You're needy. You feel unworthy. You're like an unworthy beggar, trying to make sure you're okay. Going to work to get money. I'm not saying don't work. I'm saying the purpose of life is not to go to work and to earn money, to feel okay with work. The purpose of life is to remember Allah and feel okay with Allah. And you can work too from feeling okay. You know what I mean? Whatever you think you need, my husband must change, my wife must change, my life must change, my health must change. That's not your purpose for being here. You can be healthy, you can be married, you can earn money, you can do all these things. But your purpose is to remember Allah and experience assurance. When you become actually aware of Allah, you know that you're okay and everything is okay. You know there's nothing to worry about. You know you have Allah as a refuge. See? But the people, they don't want to hear. And the Quran says to the Prophet, you are only a messenger, you are not a manager. You are here to share the message, but you are not here to compel anybody. You know what I mean? So I'm not interested in you and the state of your heart, whether you are understanding that your heart is diseased and you are purifying it or not. I'm interested in me and realizing my heart was diseased and is diseased to some degree, and I'm purifying my heart. I'm actually realizing it's not about being a religious identity and acting all holy-moly, playing the part. It's about being on the path to become aware of Allah and how I can relate to Allah and what I can do with Allah in terms of spiritual practice. I am choosing spiritual development. I'm spending time, energy, attention on spiritual development, not just religious identity carrying on. Get what I mean? So I was guided to realize that Satan's attached to me. That's why I was feeling insecure. And those who receive guidance will never feel insecure. They'll feel assured. I started receiving the guidance, realizing Allah is with me, He's here, He has caused me, He continues me, I'm supported. He cares for me and considers me, I'm sorted. He champions me and cherishes me, calling us back onto the path and cheering us along the way. As you step one step towards Allah, it takes 10. I'm here to draw closer to Allah. Satan is telling you you're here to work, you're here to get married, you're here to have children, you're here to be happy because you're getting paid, you're here to be happy because somebody loves you, you're here to be happy because you're healthy, and if you don't have somebody loving you, you should feel sad. If you don't have a job, you should feel sad, and without money you should feel sad, and if you're not taking care of the people, you should feel sad. But the truth is, we have every reason to rejoice. We are all the creation of Allah, blessed and benefited, already in the care of Allah. We are the ones who have closed our eyes to truth. We are the ones who are creating problems where there's no problems. Allah is calling us back to awaken, to realize we're actually in fact okay. So the people can live with attached to the Satans and act like they're not. And they can be those people on the day of accountability to one. So once you see those Satans that have kept you insecure and teach you to fill your mind up with ideas that are not true, and fill your heart up with, make your heart feel diseased, insecure, guilt, shame, unworthy. I'm unhappy about things of this world. My first happiness is with Allah. I'm His creation, in His care. And yes, I went astray. Yes, I forgot Him, but He's guiding me to remember Him. Yes, I can draw closer to Allah. Yes, I am being drawn closer to Him by Him. I'm a winner. That's what I'm here for. Most people won't want to hear what I'm saying. That Satan will tell them, no, it's about the world. It's about what's happening in your world. You can't feel assured now. You can't feel good now. And people say, yes, first Allah, heal me, then I'll feel good. I'll feel bad now if I'm not healed. Give me somebody to marry, then I'll feel good. I can't feel good now. But don't you feel good you have Allah? What are you talking about? Well, this is about believers. Believers are aware of Allah, and aware of Allah, we know what reason we have to feel good. We have every reason to feel good. We are aware of the reasons to feel good. When you're a non-believer, you don't know you can feel good no matter what has happened or is happening or will happen. You don't know that with Allah, you really realize, I'm really cared for. I'm really, really cared for in a way that I can't care for me. Money can't care for me. A job can't care for me. A person can't care for me. The caring of Allah. When you become aware of Allah, really aware of Allah, and you realize His compassionate nature and how cared for you are by Him, and He never did anything bad to us and He'll never be anything bad to us. He is the fair, not only fair, but Allah is the forgiving, the favoring, the fulfilling, the forwarding of us. Forwards us. You know what I mean? You see, when you don't know Allah, that's when you think like, I can't feel good now. When you know Allah, you'll feel good now. And when you know Allah, you claim refuge with Allah, you're intentional. You say, this is my intention. The Satan's intention is, no, you'll be okay because you earn money this month. You paid your bills. Because, things are the way you need them to be, so you're okay. Satan will tell you all this garbage. You have what you need in the world. Then you're okay. If you don't have what you need in the world, then you're not okay. We say we have Allah, created to depend on Him, who has already given to us. Created us in the best of molds, created us as the highest life form on earth, created us with the ability to reason, gave us guidance of the Quran to show us why we are here. We can receive the mission and undertake the mission. I'm on the mission, security with Allah beyond insecurity. Feeling good now, that's got nothing to do with the world. Feeling good with my Creator. Recognizing how cared for and considered I am by my Creator. Satan doesn't want you to do that. From that iman, I can be into amal. That not only Allah cares for me, but He cares for me so much, gave me the ability to care for me, my body and my life. That I can care for me is a caring of Allah for me. And I choose to be happy that I have that ability. Imagine if human beings couldn't care for themselves. Imagine if I couldn't brush my teeth. Imagine if I couldn't wash my body. Imagine if I couldn't do ghusl or, wudu, ablution. But we can. Imagine if there's no water to clean ourselves with. Imagine if I couldn't clean my body. Imagine if I couldn't clean my mind. Imagine if I couldn't clean my spirit. Imagine if I couldn't purify my heart. But Allah has given us the ability that we can be intentional. So I am here to remember Allah. I'm here to develop spiritually. There are people who don't want to develop. No, but we already are Muslims. You are Islamis. You are here to remember Allah. If you don't remember Allah, that is something to be unhappy about. Everything else, if you feel unhappy about everything else, I don't got a job, I'm not behaving nice, whatever it is. It's only if you don't remember Allah that you should be unhappy, really. You will be unhappy if you don't remember Allah. Everything else is just dissatisfaction. Security is first. Feel good with Allah. When you feel secure, when you spiritually develop, secure means being a believer, iman in the heart. When you are intentional on being secure, that I choose to go beyond who I've been and how I've lived and what I've experienced. I choose to go beyond being a denier, associator, and a hypocrite in Islami. I choose to be a real believer. I'm intentional on experiencing security. I'm intentional on remembering Allah, experiencing Tawheed. I'm intentional on humbling myself. I'm intentional on recognizing Allah's value to me, that I have Him, that He's enough. I want to have a higher perspective. I want to have higher perceptions. I'm currently a Satan worshipper. I'm currently having a Satan attached to me. I'm intentional on a'uzu. I claim refuge with Allah from Satan the accursed. I'm intentional. I know where I am. But I also know I have Allah as a refuge. I have guidance. I can make a study of truth. I can learn. I can develop myself spiritually. I can learn to apply myself as a spiritual being. I can know what I am, my true nature. I can go from believing that I am an animal human identity to my spiritual identity, a believer. We can support the spiritual transformation in us. I've done it. I support other people doing it. We can do it. I've done it. People are doing it if they want to do it. But not those who choose to remain with those Satans and worship Satan. Only those who realize I'm in error. Only those who say, oh my God, really? Is this what's happening? I'm insecure. I don't have iman. I'm not applying myself with amal. I'm not respecting me, my body, my life, my future life, my afterlife. I'm not being good to me, my body, my life. I'm not being good to other people. I'm not letting people be good to me. Am I with Satan? Yes, you are. You're not in a peace consciousness. You're not feeling secure. You're feeling insecure and needy. You're not in a personal power consciousness. You're not in your amal. You're like harming yourself, your body, your life directly or indirectly. You're not caring for, you don't value you don't know Allah is absolutely valuable, and you have Allah that alone relevant. You don't know. You don't know. That's guidance. It's the first thing I became aware of. That I'm unaware. I'm not experiencing peace. I'm not experiencing iman in my heart. I'm not experiencing being into amal, an empowered adult. I'm not being one who is caring for, I don't value me, my body, my life. That's why my behaviors towards me, my body, my life. I don't value the life of this world and the world beyond. I've come to a point where I said, Allah, give me a long, healthy life. I can't get enough of life. There's so much in life I want to live for in this world and in the afterlife too. You know what I mean? This is now me going beyond deprivation. People just go to work, come back, go to work. They don't let themselves care for themselves. They don't let others care for them. They don't value their bodies and their values. They don't value their body's needs. And they don't let others care for their body's needs too. Affection and so on and so forth. We don't. Living deprived lives, sick, perverted. You might say, but I'm not a pervert. I don't watch pornography and all that, some might say. And you don't let affection, you don't let people care for you. You don't let yourself experience connection with people. That's perversion. No, it's not, said the Satan worshippers. You got to look at your life, and you got to realize there's a Satan attached to you. And you got to recognize that that's nothing to feel bad about. And so, oh, there's a Satan attached to me. It's attached to everybody. But we have the guidance of the Quran, that we can be intentional. Allah, we claim refuge with you. You are a refuge. And we claim that refuge. You are a protector from our minds, where Satan's whisper into our hearts, where Satan's whisper into. We choose to be aware of you, actually aware of you. Experience your compassion. We choose to go, A'uzu, Bismillah. Become aware of the wonderful nature, your compassion, your mercy. We are really, really sorry that we have been in a denial of you, in an association of partners with you, in hypocrisy. We're sorry. We have remorse. We regret. We repent. We change in our ways. We don't want to live how we're living. How we've been living is distorted. Instead of saying, no, help me, please, I need you, because you can help me. You know, Allah has given you the help, reason, given you the Quran, given you the mission. Spiritual development, psychological development, experiential, interpersonal development. Choose peace consciousness and support it. Be intentional with salam. Choose personal power consciousness, iman, amal. Support it. Learn to develop yourself. Learn, grow. See where Satan is holding you back and claim that refuge. Go beyond subconscious living, unconsciously living, subconsciously applying this. Wake up, wake up, wake up. And realize that the way you've been living is as a non-believer, denier, and associator. That there's a way to live, there's a potential for you to live as a believer. You can have an actual relationship with Allah, and you can respond to Allah, and you can experience Him as enough for you, and you can use the spiritual practices that will benefit you. When you're in that security, you can be grateful that Allah gave you the ability to, firstly, you created you human, you can have human esteem. You can have self-esteem, you can have body esteem, you can have life esteem. From having Allah esteem, God esteem, you can have human esteem, self-esteem, life esteem. You can relate to you, you can value Allah. You can value the body He's given, you can value our creation as human beings. You can value your life. You can value the opportunities to live a tayyibun life. You can value these things. If you are not humble before Allah, and if you don't value, you're worshipping Satan. If you don't recognize the guidance and what it is calling us to, I call it the path of human excellence, security, self-fullness, satisfaction, iman, amal, life, tayyibun, that there is for us to learn, grow and develop. There is for us the refuge with Allah so that we can go from insecure to secure, from a beggar to a believer, from an addict to an adult, from a grown-up, disempowered child to an adult, empowered adult. And we can go from being victims, not participating in a satisfying life, to receiving Allah's good in this world and the world. There's people, things and experience of high quality that we can have in our lives. Satan doesn't want you to have a high quality, satisfying, fulfilling experience of life. If you don't claim the spiritual joy, the psychological joyfulness, the experiential enjoyment in this world, you'll never have the ecstasy of the afterlife. I don't know if any of this is making any sense to you. I'm just grateful that I understand it and I want to understand it. A lot of people are like, no, just tell me how to get Allah to save me and change me. Allah has given you everything for you to use your reason and apply yourself. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so you don't want to understand. That's okay. Or you want to understand. But we will soon see. Each one of us, Allah will show us what we did and how we lived. But then it'll be too late for the masses. But it's got nothing to do with me. Shukr to Allah who's guided me to the path of human excellence, who strengthens me along the path of human excellence. All praise, glory and thanks is due to Allah Almighty. His choicest blessings upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.